Alright, hello and welcome back to Road to Better Chess, the game show where the points don't matter. Jokes. But we try not to focus too much on the rating and a little bit more on improving as we play. So d4, we're black, we're going to go knight f6. Currently I'm still playing kind of the main repertoire that I normally play, but I've been thinking of reintroducing one or two ideas that I used to play with a bit in the past, to see if I can maybe use those as part of my study as well. Oh, this might be a London. Okay, let's go d5. This does look very much like a London. Alright, continuing here with c5. Alright, we've got like a standard game that we're going to try and get to, but our opponent might deviate. The very natural standard moves would be knight d2, knight f3, and c3, and we would respond with knight c6 and queen b6 is a line I quite like to play against the London. It works out in various ways. You could start with c5 and then queen b6 straight away as well. That introduces some potential variance. Alright, now bringing the bishop out first does kill our potential idea of playing a bishop up here hitting the queen, but I wonder if we push, they'll maybe just run back and we've let the tension go. So I think we're just going to develop the queen. We're hitting that b pawn, the one that becomes a bit weak after the dark bishop comes out, and we'll see how they choose. There's three queen moves, there's a pawn move, all possible. I think there's also a knight move in this position, although maybe not in this exact position, because we would be able to take and maybe take here as well. And our b pawn is still defended, so there's nothing falling on our end if that happens. Alright, looks like we've given our opponent something to think about. In the last game, we played something that I termed the delayed Smith-Morra. And although we ended up losing because of an unfortunate miscalculation twice. First just accidentally moving the wrong pawn. And secondly, not realizing there's a way for us to still equalize in a worse looking position. Losing a bit of focus was something. The other thing that I kind of learned from that game that I want to work on a bit is when you have kind of a positional bind, when you've got control of most of the board, when should you cash in your advantage? In that game I cashed in my knight for the two bishops, thinking that I still have better control and a better game. The engine disagrees. I was black. I think I went from like -2 to minus point something. So that was unfortunate. And the engine moves they wanted me to play was actually just to move my queen out to bring the other rook, to keep on improving my position. So we'll see if we can try and keep that idea alive throughout the coming games. Yeah, hope to keep on employing our lessons. We'll see. Alright, looks like white hasn't faced this too many times, maybe. Okay, here we go. So queen. Okay, actually this still works now, because once we play well, I guess they could put the bishop here. I was going to say once we play c4 the bishop has to go back, but they could potentially play it out, but that would still give us this pawn, so that's actually pretty good. So I'm thinking after c4 they're probably going to lose the bishop, and then I can hit the queen, and if the queen leaves this pawn, if they take here, my rook is still guarding my king, so there's no potential mate. I can take this pawn, hitting this rook as well. The knight can't move because this pawn is also hanging. So they'd have to, so up, maybe they move the bishop up here, maybe they take the bishop, then I take this pawn and their rook is hanging. and there's no immediate way for them to punish me for that choice. Their queen can't come in anywhere that matters. This bishop on its own can't do any damage. The other option would be just to close off, play the bishop out, or to play g6. So after that, actually this might be even better. We play g6, and then maybe they play knight f3, and then we play c4. And then after the bishop moves, it can't move here anymore because it's covered by the pawn. We can bring our pawn up, hitting, and they don't have a knight covering this unless they move this knight up, in which case here, then we go over. They would still be able to take here, threatening to open up the attack again. But obviously if we take here, we hang our c-pawn, so that's a little bit less enjoyable. Maybe we take with the knight instead, and threaten to take there, and then take with the bishop again. Alright, any other moves we can consider? So if we play g6, they might take this pawn. Our queen has no direct way to get away from it in a useful fashion. We might have to just take the pawn back. And of course then they would just have a slightly worse control of the center. We would end up playing e4, e5 in that position probably. Alright, I'm liking our thinking here. Let's go ahead with g6. Expecting knight f3, probably just being able to castle the king. Knight d2, also an option in this position. Taking probably the least likely of the options. Yeah, there's the knight out. Alright, so we're going to go here. If they're going to move, we're going to go up. If they just move the queen out of the way, we might be able to play here. We might be able to do something else. Taking control of this file, this diagonal might be good for us anyway. Yeah, it does mean that when we break here, we need something else to help. Or actually, we need to probably take the bishop first, and then we can play this move. Alright, up we go. I'm going to continue with this plan. This also stops the knight from b3, which I quite like. I didn't even really consider it as yet, but that knight actually doesn't have a lot of good squares to go to right now. Especially if the other knight comes out here, they'd actually be running out of squares for their knights. Yep. This square is something that they're currently controlling. Right, I'm going to go ahead with this move now. Yeah, you kind of gotta run the queen away in that case. It's pretty good for me, but I still don't think I can quite get at this pawn here, unfortunately. Alright, well, we're gonna go for this. It's a nice diagonal for our bishop. And there's no immediate way for them to punish us for this, I think. If they push here, we take with the knight. I do think they have this. But I wonder. In that case, well, we can take this knight, they can take our bishop. And then we can actually just like pop it straight back onto the square again and just be kind of golden, like really nice. We would have this pawn defending too, so they could sack their bishop and take our knight. But again, they would have to take with their queen, and we'd be up hitting this. Yeah. I do also like just hitting the stars with bishop, but we'll first have to see what they decide to do here. I think if they don't go for this, then yeah. Now I actually think I just want to hit their dark square bishop immediately, because they still have to develop their other knight. And after I take the dark square bishop, I might have a nice break here as well. Being able to get a knight in there, that's going to be crushing for sure. Um, take, take back, and immediately before they can play knight f3. Yeah, I think this is important. All right, let's get this out. This does allow them to give up their light square bishop to destroy our pawn structure a little bit. We still have the same break though. We just have to play f first, or we have to play up our bishop and then consider potentially f and e. We'll have to see if they consider that useful. Giving up the light square bishop for a slight pawn structure advantage is dangerous in this kind of situation. Having all these light squares be weak. I'd be able to put my light square bishop here and potentially just stop them from castling completely, because they take back knight out here and then your king is kind of going nowhere. You could hit it with your knight. I'd be very happy to trade. I've scored at f3 to push the dark square bishop away, and then I could fianchetto castle. I could break with e4, e5. Okay, here we go. They are doing this. No in-between moves, I think. I'm just going to take that bishop. You can go for this pawn if you really want to. You'd have to do it with your queen, though. I could go up. You have no way to attack these pawns twice, so there's no like massive threat there. I might struggle to fianchetto if the queen is sitting on this file, but they'd have to move twice. And if the queen moves, this pawn is hanging, this pawn is hanging. And after that I can hit their queen again, maybe. Yeah, this is getting interesting. Interesting real fast. Okay, but I'm liking my position overall. White's opening move order, I think, opened them up for a little bit of a complicated position, slightly tricky position. What if they play something like e4 here? I wonder, is it worth... I mean, I could take the pawn. I would probably take the pawn with my bishop if I was going to take the knight. Then I would have these pawns. I would have to build up on this side. Probably I want to get out here, castle first though. And I would still be breaking with e4. But in that case, obviously they can get their... They can get their knight out. Oh, okay, interesting. Alright, so trying to stop me from blocking, but I mean the knight is going to be protected by only the knight is going to be protected only by your king, so you can't castle yet. And the knight's also the only thing that can hit the bishop in this position. So maybe you move your dark square bishop or your queen. And I think I might actually just straight up break there. If you move your dark square bishop, go on there. Getting my dark square bishop out right now, useful, but not the most useful. I could also do something like this, and they would be in a little bit of trouble. They would have some pieces they could put there, but I have a pawn there as well, so I would actually be castling queenside in that case, I think. Could get quite dangerous for them. Trying to think if I can play something like fast. So I'd be happy to do this to mess up their pawn structure. I think I could get something from that. But probably I need to do here first. They castle up, hitting the bishop. And then unfortunately this doesn't quite like hit the bishop. And if I take, it gives their position something better. So I'm not liking that too much. But this could become kind of a nice asset for a push. So maybe I just continue this way and see how they want to solve their problem with the knight. Hmm. I'd have this knight out, take twice, take again. Oh my goodness. Wow, that is just so much fun. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Let's see if this attack is worth, moving the bishop twice, not castling yet. Like Glasgow bishop still has to come out. What I saw from here is that if they take with this, I can bring my Dark bishop out here, and I'd be hitting this pawn twice. So if the bishop, for instance, moves to make way for the knight now, I could hit covering the square as well. If they take with the bishop, I take back. Interesting, with the knight. I could force their king out here, but I don't think that's quite as useful. So maybe it's just time to bring my own bishop out. And then I can break here. Well, I probably need to play f6 again anyway. That knight is still not protected by anyone else. If they jump out, they can't. Maybe I do this, preparing my e-break, but I do need to have this in the rooks as well. Take. Having another pawn here would be especially good or bad. When this knight is still a concern, this pawn is still a concern. Alright, let's not complicate things too much. We're going to develop our dark square bishop onto this long diagonal. Let's see what it looks like after their next move. Queen up. Okay, queen up, defending the knight. Queen is not really within range of anything yet, unfortunately. But this does allow me to maybe do here. Now they're going to castle, right? And then I can hit. And my king is sitting in the center, but I'm not too concerned. The only other thing I don't like... Oh, well, actually, I could maybe hate here. Maybe I have to play castle here first. They can move a knight out here. I could just fall back and just say thank you for the space. My bishop might get stuck here though. Knight over. I had a queen here already, but I don't. So it's f3 or it's castle. If I want to continue being aggressive, it's going to be f6, sorry. f6 they castle, I go e5. And e5 they take, I can keep on taking. I've got another pawn to take, so I'll end up building a larger center for myself as well. I definitely have to castle at that point though. I actually wonder if I castle queenside. Because I'll have all of this space open here to play with. Alright, we're going for it. Continue playing aggressively against this London. So I was thinking they might do this, and don't think I'll be trading off my bishop just willy-nilly. So I can drop it back once, make them move some more pawns. I can move, well, the thing is if I drop it here or here, this knight hits it. So maybe I drop it back once first, see if they want to move another pawn because I'm hitting this. Once they castle, maybe I castle this side. They'll start breaking, but I don't even have to, unless they properly break. If they move too many pawns too fast, I can just wait these guys are keeping me pretty safe on the queen side. Alright, castles and lets me play this. Seems dangerous. Does seem dangerous. Unfortunately, these two are on the same row, so it's not like I can take the one and then the other's a great move. Alright, let's continue breaking here. We've got 3 defenders of that pawn. It's hitting a bishop and their central pawn. They take, we can take back with the pawn. That gives us a really nice center. Now the bishop's going to go back. And then we have to, then it's very much time to castle. We have to castle. Yeah, we could do this. This gives them that square though, so I don't really like that. Maybe we castle and we try and ruin their king situation with a really cool exchange sacrifice or something. Oh, interesting. So you're trying to get on this diagonal now, stopping my king. This actually just gives me another chance, and your bishop is actually taking the square that your knight might want to have. Or I should just castle straight away. This knight can't move because the rook's hanging. I didn't even realize that. Silly me. I can go here now hitting that knight, and it doesn't have a lot of options. It's got basically these ones. If it jumps here, then maybe I should just castle. Yeah, I think this is good enough. Alright. Does very much look like there might be something interesting here. Oh, interesting indeed. I can win a pawn. And this falls and I take here, so take. One of the rooks comes out, I take the c pawn. I could also just leave it, just say thank you very much. Alright, let's see. This exchange sacrifice is very juicy. I just don't know if it works. It's kind of... If I take here, they take back, I bring another knight over. Pretty hard to keep that pawn. What can defend it? Kind of nothing. You could push it, but I'm still going to take... I also then get this diagonal, which looks pretty dangerous. Here. Should I put an in-between to push the bishop out? If I sack here, I mean, I'm obviously going for a winning attack. I just have to find a way to bring my queen in. That's really the main... There's 3 defenders of that square, so if I push... Actually, I can take here, and then I can break the center. Take. So I can crush open the center completely, but the problem with that is I don't know if I actually get anything. But this looks just so juicy. This move can't work. Give away a square I really need to keep control of. And this just looks like the way to play. Do I want to push the bishop back further? Does it help? If it's here... Actually, not really. Not yet. Maybe in a second. Alright, we're gonna sack. Here we go. Exchange sack. I'm not going to say for the fans, because that's not the point. We're trying to play the best game we can, but obviously quite exciting and fun. We could bring this bishop back now as well, but I actually don't mind if they take. I feel like that just gives them one less option, and if they push our queen around, that actually helps us. We do want to move our queen out of the way. I actually wouldn't mind moving here, hitting all of these guys. And I can't go across, I don't have that opened up yet. Alright, let's just get the other rook in. This is the advantage we have with the way we've played. Their rook is sitting in the corner. I expect them to take, because I don't know what else they're doing here, to be honest. Trying to defend this. Take. Unless they take back with the... Maybe actually when they push I have to hit the bishop once first, just to get it away from that square so I can't take back. And then there's always a potential rook lift in the mix. Somewhere. Somewhere there is a rook. Oh, okay, and also actually in that case we could take the knight and then we would be able to take this pawn, also hitting the bishop. The bishop could go in front of the king, we could go here. The knight, the queen's hitting it. Let's just defend it for a bit at least. But we'd be running out of attacking pieces, so we really need to get this other knight and our queen in the game quick. I do see this, but that pawn's currently not weak, so it doesn't really help us. We could also push away and then try and get our rook over. Oh, okay. They're actually just going to give us the pawn, I guess. I think I'm going to say thank you and take it. I don't think there's much to it besides that. This pawn is weak then. This pawn is weak once they jump the knight somewhere. It could go backwards. Oh, but then actually I've got this. Yeah, no, this is looking pretty good. Do I want to insert this in between move? I kind of don't. I don't think I actually want to force the bishop back, because I think it gets kind of... It gets an improved position if it's over there. Got to be careful of this square. So take here. If they take... Someone there. Maybe I hit the bishop. Yeah, thank you for the pawn. Alright. Still trying to find a way to get this knight active so that I could get my queen in the right way. Is this a good time to move this back here and then move the bishop over? This is going to be a very important diagonal to keep safe. I could also move my bishop up, my pawn up. They'd end up taking, I take back, and I'd have a bit of a clamp, but... Well... Actually, this does allow me to bring my knight in, which feels very important. Here, then I can go here. And this knight is going to cause them trouble. But the bishop sitting over here versus coming back just feels so much stronger. If I take here and then I take here, they take my... Oh no, this is probably gonna... okay. Tricky. Maybe I'll move my rook back first. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I'm liking this pawn, this bishop move here. And I think this is basically as long as I can avoid bringing... The problem is that it takes so many moves. I kind of think maybe I do need to move this e pawn because it opens up this and it opens up my queen, my knight, which makes my queen a bit more useful. Okay, let's take. This is covered by my knight, very important because my king is incredibly open here. I do have a rook that can fall back. Kinda need my knight to move. And I think it's this, I think maybe that was the square my knight needed to take. Yeah. I could still come across here. I could still kind of change my plan, push back one more, and then push the pawn, which allows me to sink a knight into that square, or here. Yeah, okay, maybe that diagonal plan was not so good with the bishop. This is not as useful as being able to use the e5 square for my knight, which also allows my queen to come in. Oh man, for sure that was a good move. After this I could also do here. From this, I also now in this position is I let this square go, which is not good. Well, I actually don't think that's the best move here. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, queen back, I guess. They're gonna come in here and it's gonna be a bit frustrating for me. Maybe I need to bring my rook back first. Oh, spicy stuff. Spicy, spicy stuff. Back here, up. That also gives them their own knight squares, right? You gotta give some squares to get some squares. But if I can bid my... I mean, if I can do this, it's crashing. But they always have this square currently. I kind of have to do this now that my... Maybe my knight... here they come. Okay. This also gives them here, which is going to be frustrating. Because they don't have a mate on me though, so maybe it's still okay. This is dicey though. This is very dicey. I can hit them here. I'm actually trying to bring my queen across. I can also block up. Ooh, this is actually quite important. Being able to block up the diagonal, block up the file behind their queen. Also hitting the knight, which is currently undefended then. Yeah. Very important. And then I have this. Then that make me trade here, which is less fun. Oh, okay. I think this is just my move here. You can get a check in, fair enough. But, oh no, my rook is, my rook is hanging, I have to bring it back. Yeah, this is dangerous, dangerous. But now the queen is a little bit lonely, right? So, this is pretty good for me, maybe. This is still defended, unless they sack back the exchange now. If I go over here, I'm also hitting that pawn twice. Once I push here, I'm also hitting that pawn. And then I'm also hopefully trying to bring my knight across. They got a pawn they can take here, which is dangerous for me, but I think I'm able to make a plan there. Just over here, protecting it. And if they take, they'd actually just be giving me a piece. So I would have these guys versus these guys. Oopsie daisy. Yeah, this versus this. Is that right? Yeah, I guess so. So I'd still be down the down the exchange though. No, I gotta be counting something wrong here. Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. Oh, no, that is correct. Huh. I have an in-between. This could be nice. Hit the queen. Make it move. And then I can come onto this diagonal. Oh, they do sack the exchange back. Goodness me. Okay. Any in-betweens for me? I think I just take it. Fair enough, they can get the pawn. And now... over here, hitting the f-pawn. I still have this as well, pushing their bishop back, although I'm still not sure exactly when that helps. I still have this check, but now my rook is also defended. Now I can hit them here and then I can take this, but also again we're not sure what that helps. Let's hit that bishop, only move really. And let's bring this. I do still have this check, I can bring this back. I'm looking at this move here. Although I do see that the knight's also covering it. I'm covering this pawn. Tricky situation. We've got a bit of pawn. I've got 5 pawns, they've got 5 pawns. They've got 3 isolated ones. I've only got... No, I've got a lot of isolated pawns as well. A lot of H pawns. A lot of H pawns. Oh, interesting. Maybe I just bring it back. Now my bishop's hanging, that's not good. Alright. Now maybe here. Well, I have this check as well now, although I don't know what it does for me just yet. It does give me the knight actually. Ooh, that's a good move. Oh, I might have made a bit of a mistake. Oh, but actually that's going to be like counter check. So if they take here, 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 this is check on that side as well. That's going to be fun. Maybe my play for fun is turning into a bit of a danger zone situation. Okay. Up. I can hit their queen again. Actually, hit their queen again, I get this check, which could be very important. Alright, but now I need to protect my... It is double protected actually. So that's not such a big deal. I still get this check maybe. approach, triple attack, but it depends what you attack it with, right? Because your queen is hanging. Hmm. Just attacking everything, huh? Okay. Let's trade. Let's trade down and see if we can make a plan in this endgame. It's getting a bit tricky. We're down a pawn, but it's not. Oh, that's just. Oh, that's just not good. Okay. All right. I mean, that's just very unfortunate for our opponent. Um, we clearly did not find the right attacking plan in the mid game, though. So we're gonna have to go have a look and see. Yeah. Okay. There is. We're gonna have to have a look and see if that was correct. Let's first just go back and see at the opening. Yeah, so c3 here, I guess this is still perfectly fine. Bishop out first, I think, is slightly different. I don't know, I'm not a London player, so maybe this is a move order that's normal, but I think that's slightly different from what you normally do. Um, Alright, we continue with the standard plan, queen out here. Yeah, and so normally in this case, I'm hoping the bishop isn't there so I can do my plan. g6, I like g6, and I didn't have to do this. So probably engine-wise, c4 is not the best move. I do feel like it gave me a fair amount of control of the game, but maybe actually what I have to do is after they move the bishop, I have to get the queen off the diagonal, and then I have to move my h and g pawns again to push their dark bishop back, so I have space to put my own light square bishop to keep it safe. So my bishops would kind of sit like this, and I would try and play for the queenside break. Alright, but anyway, I went for this plan where I push the bishop off, and I push the queen off, and I'm winning. I'm getting tempi, right? So their bishop has now moved twice, and I did let the tension go, but I got some space, and their queen also moved twice. Um, so I feel like with my one development move and a pawn move or two, I've gained a little bit more space and control of the game. I wonder if e5 here directly was good, because if they take with the bishop, I can take, and then I can jump my knight to try and win the pawn back. I can go here hitting that and that, so they can't move the f-pawn. So maybe here, e5 directly. If they take with the bishop, I just take it, thank you, and then I go knight up with g, or even just knight back to d. If they take with the pawn directly, I maybe hit the bishop. Although in this case, they probably would have taken. So then I would have had to take, and actually then I'm just down a pawn and a structure, which is maybe not so good. Alright, I walked into that anyway straight away. Full disclosure, I didn't really look at this too hard at the start, but I figured that a light square bishop for a knight in the London is probably good for black. So take, and they bring their knight out here to cover the queen's castling. Yeah, so I say thank you, I'm going to stop you. They jump their knight, and now I'm finally going to get my other pawns going. Queen up, allowing the king to castle, because now the queen is defending both, and it's not overworked because they can keep the defense of the other, even if we take once. So I probably could have castled first. I didn't have to play f immediately, but I think this would have transposed, although I could have castled queenside. This is the difference with the game, where I broke first and then they put their bishop on this diagonal, which is a good diagonal, I think. Better than the other one, maybe. Just because it's close to my king, right? Alright, so probably here I could have castled first and then broken. It's not like they can really stop this from coming. There's no way to stop my plan, so probably I had the chance to do this first and make sure that even if the bishop comes out, I'm just kind of ready for whatever it is I want to do. Or have the chance to still castle. Well, I don't know if I really wanted to castle queenside anyway. Anyway, we broke. Could have taken back with the knight here first, actually hitting their knight, but then I give up control of that d4 square, and I wanted to take control of it, keep control of it. Alright, this is still a move, this is still a move. I like the sack, although I think I followed it up incorrectly. So rook over here, they give me a chance to take that pawn, which is important because it gives me this square as well, which I should have covered with a pawn, so I can jump my knight. So rook up, bishop, knight back, and here I think the move. Oh, this is also with check, hey? Otherwise, the move was literally just to play e4 and say, like, you know, if you don't take my bishop, I can't move it, but only your knight can take it, and I am covering some pretty key squares in your situation, and I'm also covering the file. So if you take my pawn on c, I can take with d, and the file stays closed, so your queen can't come in. So although I'm opening up the position, I'm still the one with more space to play in right now. Yeah, so maybe e4 here was just the move. Pretty explosive then, but specifically gives me my knight e5, which I think I needed to open up my queen. And also it gives me a potential chance to hit the c pawn if the queen moves away. Yeah, so this wasn't the best move, almost certainly. Knight out. Knight out. I guess they just realized they needed to bring the knight back to the king. Yeah, I mean, you can see they've got a clear plan to bring it here. Over. Nah. Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point I've actually just let my position go. I don't want to trade queens. Cut off the queen though, so nice. So at least their rooks aren't actually in the game. But they do decide to take the pawn with the exchange. And in this case, I mean, we're equal, but their pawn structure is slightly better, right? I've got these two good pawns, they've got these two, but then I've got two like isolated pawns on the side of the board, which is kind of silly. Alright, queen over. Yeah, there wasn't really much else here. Even if I take, it's not like I have an attack. My rook will just hang after this. So queen over, bishop, like rook over, covering here. So I'm still attacking, right? I still have the attack. I wonder if I should have tried to play into to try and take their pawns here, and I don't know, like this felt really like dodgy. I'm coming here to take this pawn, say I do, and they check, and I have to bring my rook back, and they take the pawn on the side here. Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm doing too good. I guess here I can try and like make some plans with my queen and then leave this pawn to run. We'll see with the engine in a bit. Just making quick moves. I mean, this is blitz at this point, so it's difficult. Yeah, if I knew I was going to hang that pawn on the side, I would have put the rook somewhere else, which I guess would only have to be f. Otherwise, I would have had just to move my queen back, because it's not overworked, because if either one I take, I'm defending the other one. Alright, don't want to trade off, but this move is also very dangerous, obviously, because it allows this check here. So maybe in this point I actually just had to just start going for it. They take, I get a check in, and then I can actually hit them like this. That would be very strong actually. Yeah, that could have been great here, and if they take, I check and I come up and hit both their pieces. That would have been winning as well. Alright, but I'm moving into it. I don't want to cover, because if I take back, my queen's hanging on the side. Nice for them to see this. King out of the way. Don't have that check just yet. So I cover again, they attack again, I attack their queen. Here, I wonder if I just made a mistake. If you take with your knight, you're hitting my queen. So then you take here. So if bishop, queen, queen, and then making knight, knight, you know, and then I don't know, I feel like, you know, oh, actually, I still have, I know, yeah, here, then you take my queen. Oh, then I can take on take, actually, this was bad for you. Alright, here, and here I traded. I expected them to take, I was going to take back with my knight again, probably. And maybe they trade off everything, and it's knight versus bishop, and I'm down a pawn, and I've got two pawns on dark squares, so definitely not a a great endgame for me. But my opponent unfortunately did not play correctly. Alright, over to the opening book. Let's quickly have a look if anyone else did this kind of attack. Alright. C3, yeah, main move, knight c6, knight d2 main, bishop d3, not good for white at all at the top level. Leech's top level, it's okay, but it's a little bit worse. Yeah, everything a little bit worse. Okay, but let's just see here. Bishop up, queen b6, bishop g4 is actually the best move. Let's just quickly see. Bishop g4, I'm assuming knight f3 was the thing. And then here, okay, so, I mean, what if you just do this? Take ones. I'm just going to mess up your... Okay, because your queen's working to defend everything. Here, and then I can take here and here. Hit me. Take my pawn. No, your bishop's hanging, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm just up a pawn and gonna hopefully convert some kind of slight advantage. Alright, as it went, I went queen b6 and they went queen up. And here g6, yes, that's what I played. Knight e2 is what they played. Bishop g7, oh, okay. Yeah, so the other guy didn't do what I did. Let's see if anyone on top leeches did what I did. C4, yes. Main move for top leeches players. Alright, feel like I'm in good company here. The analysis doesn't really change for a while still. C4, bishop e2, bishop f5. Yeah, so we all have the same plan and we're transposing back 219 top leeches games. Master games in this position? 1. Bishop f5, queen c1. Oh yeah, a few more. Queen d8 and bishop g is what we played. Queen d8. Queen d8. I think because we're transitioning into a different kind of game, maybe? Let's quickly have a look here. What black did in this position? Takes, castle, castle, b5. Oh, okay, queen out of the way to move the pawns, eh? Okay. Trade off. Knight back. That e4 square is looking juicy. Great spot for a light square bishop. Queen up. Clogging up the board. Very close position now. Everyone's just moving one pawn at a time. Improving. Importantly, not going here and getting your knight stuck, right? So a5. Alright, but black still has some breaks. Okay, black went on to win this game, but this was a very, very, very slow game. Anyway, so I went knight h5 in this position. Yeah, still people playing this, but more people just put their bishop out. So this is probably the best move. Yeah, bishop takes is actually turning out to be good for quite a few people. This was not the move though, maybe. Yeah, okay. Alright. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, and it just wants to start playing on this diagonal. Ugh, this file immediately. Alright. Yeah, upland. Oh, taking was actually good for us. Castling was okay. And here we actually just had to immediately start gunning for the... What's the plan here? Queen 7, e4. So e4 was one of the moves. All the time e4 was one of the moves. What if you jump your knight in? Oh, I take. You can't take this one. Queen over, yeah, okay. I just had to kind of clarify a bit of space. I take a defender from the king away with one of... I trade it off, with a knight that's not attacking. And I get my queen in, so fair enough. Alright, this sack, not terrible, but it was a mistake. Alright, I'm sorry to see that. It was very fun though. Alright, oh, and I'm better again. I'm very good here. Okay, okay. We obviously missed something. Bishop back is one of the best moves. Interesting. Knight out is also a good move. Okay. Let's have a look. I mean, this is all tactics now, right? I just sacked my knight. What's my... Oh, just the fact that I'm coming in. Okay. Coming over, you block. I hit you. Okay. You move your king out of the way. I take your pawn with check. Your king here. And hitting your bishop again. Same plan. If you move back. Oh no, I'm actually just taking in the back because I've got this. Oh, snaps. Mate in 4. Okay, okay. So I had the right idea. I need to get my queen out of there, but I did not think that sacking a piece was an acceptable way to go. Alright, this was okay apparently. How about just playing E up? Also okay, not quite as good actually it seems. And oh man. Okay, so having this diagonal works as long as I just immediately go, maybe they take again, and I just come over hitting your bishop. You have to give it back, and then I'm actually just infiltrating on the side of the king, coming in on the wing, flanking you. Okay, I'm still better. I had to just block immediately. Yeah, this was a stupid oversight because I saw the idea later on, but I didn't do it right. Okay, and I'm just actually going to lose my advantage completely. Ah, okay. Well, I'm happy to say the attacking game wasn't completely incorrect, but when it came down to the critical position, we made some mistakes. That's unfortunate. So here in this position, you gotta see, I've played for this attack the whole time. I know my king and my knight are the problems. I'm also threatening just taking the pawn here, hitting the queen, which is obviously very good for me. So I've got this kind of duel situation, and because your queen can't take the pawn, there's no check. If you take with your own pawn, sure, it's going to be able to run, but your queen is not coming in for a check soon enough. I'm coming across. Your king is wide open. Ah, okay. Interesting. Very, very fun. I might look a little bit at this opening move order one more time, where I kind of deviated from what the main people are doing. I'm expecting this castle, castle. All right, but this is just the game. All right, once the knight comes out, you have the same press. H6. Well, I was actually going to break with the middles. I would have done this. G5 not good. E5 good. Okay, break. What's this position? Equal. Go figure. All right, GG. Very fun game. Very happy to win. Not really like a clean one. I was clearly worse, but my opponent unfortunately could not stand the heat. So we'll take it, although not for the win, but for this idea of if you know the problem, maybe you have to continue being ruthless in following it up. If I'm going to sack an exchange, I can't be starting to play slow moves. I got to go for it maybe. Eh? All right, thank you very much for joining. As always, keep on improving, and see you next time. Ciao.